Here at Union and all our affiliates, providing exceptional care starts with keeping our patients safe. That's why we created Safety First, a new system-wide error prevention transformation. Healthcare is a complex, fast-moving, high-pressure, high-risk endeavor. And while each one of us is dedicated to doing everything we can to keep our patients safe, we are all human, and as humans, we will all make mistakes. Unfortunately, in our workplace, a mistake can result in harm to our patients or harm to our employees. Please take this time to learn about Safety First, the principles, purpose, and people behind it. Then I encourage you to make Safety First the foundation of your day, every day, so that by working together, we can provide high-quality, safe care for our patients and their families who trust us, who rely on us, and who deserve only the very best from us.
From doctors and nurses to administrators and all other members of our healthcare team, each and every employee of Union Hospital, Triangle Health Alliance, and all of our affiliates have a role in ensuring that our patients receive safe, high-quality care. Part of that responsibility is to acknowledge when we make an error. We make that acknowledgement fully and honestly so that we can learn from that experience and become even better at providing optimal care to our patients and families. Mrs. Lopez is a 34-year-old beautiful wife and mother who came to our hospital for an elective procedure and returned for a routine 2-week follow-up appointment. After the surgical wound assessment, it was determined that her wounds needed to be cleaned. Unfortunately, due to human error and failure to verbally and visually verify the solution, an acid solution was accidentally poured onto Mrs. Lopez's stomach rather than normal saline solution. Mrs. Lopez immediately cried out in pain from the chemical burns she received. Mrs. Lopez came to us for a routine follow-up appointment and ended up requiring multiple follow-up treatments to care for the burns she received. She now has to live with those scars, reminding her every day of the medical error that we made and could have easily prevented from occurring. Mr. Smith was scheduled to have a biopsy. Although he was a little nervous, he understood the need for having the procedure. The procedure went well, and Mr. Smith was relieved the procedure he feared having was finally over. Several days passed, and he never received a call with the biopsy results. Mr. Smith eventually called to get the results, and at that time, it was discovered that the biopsy never reached the lab. Because there was no chain of custody process, Mr. Smith's biopsy sample was lost and never recovered. Our lack of having a clear process caused Mr. Smith to have to undergo an unnecessary second biopsy procedure. Mr. Jackson was brought to our hospital in critical condition. He was a patient in our critical care unit and was being cared for by outstanding doctors and nurses. During his stay, Mr. Jackson's lab results came back indicating that he needed an infusion of a high-risk medication. After the provider placed the order, the pharmacy prepared the medication and delivered it to the unit. Mr. Jackson's nurse was about to administer the medication. However, something did not appear right to her. The dose was much higher than what was generally given on that unit. Thankfully, the nurse stopped and placed a call to the provider to confirm the dose. It was identified at that time that the provider made an error when placing the initial order in the medical record. Rather than ordering the intended 2 grams, the order had been placed for 20 grams. The nurse did an exceptional job by stopping and verifying the order. Thanks to her actions, the error never reached the patient. Mr. Jackson did recover, and after a short stay in our hospital, he was able to return home with his family. We celebrate our success stories such as Mr. Jackson's. And even more, we want this kind of outcome for every patient, every time. That's the reason for Safety First, to have more stories like Mr. Jackson's.
Although the primary victims of medical errors are the patients and the families who are harmed, There are additional victims as well, our caregivers and staff. Healthcare workers are emotional and highly empathetic individuals driven by a strong desire to help others, to cure, and to heal. When an error occurs, caregivers are hurt on a variety of levels, from concern and sadness for their patients to anger and frustration with themselves, knowing that their error hurt someone else. Even the most competent and strongest of caregivers can fall victim to feelings of inadequacy and guilt. These feelings are often exacerbated by an inability to speak freely, to express their emotions, and to convey regret and apology to their patients and their families. These caregivers become the second victims of medical errors. In order to encourage healing and restoration, we will support our second victims and will provide the opportunity to receive the resources necessary to assist them and to help them to recover.
Any error, no matter how large or small, can cause harm. At Union, we experience a serious safety event on average once every 19 days. It may not sound like much, but the costs of each event are potentially devastating. The costs to our patients' health, our employees' morale, the hospital's reputation, and the community's trust in us. Safety First is designed as a series of easy-to-remember actions that each of us can use to make patient safety our first priority. Focus on the task at hand, inquire with a questioning attitude, reliable communications, speak up for safety, thorough handoffs. Safety First unites the entire Union team to achieve one goal: improved safety for our patients and employees. In developing Safety First, we enlisted the help of dozens of people from all areas in our organization. We looked at error prevention efforts in other high-risk industries, such as the airline industry and nuclear power. We also examined trends in patient safety right here under our own roof. And we paid special attention to specific situations where we made errors, and to the many times where our employees took the extra steps needed to prevent patient safety errors. At its core, Safety First puts our patients and employees first. Doing so will help us to fulfill our mission to provide safe, high-quality health and wellness services to our community.
With the introduction of Safety First, we are all renewing our focus on the well-being of each and every one of our patients. Whether they are here for a routine checkup, a same-day surgery procedure, a medical emergency, or an extended stay.
Safety First is a comprehensive transformation that will reinforce our culture of safety. This campaign unites the entire Union team, our staff, our physicians, and our leadership toward achieving one attainable goal: increased patient safety.
Safety First will help us focus on the steps we can take every day towards our ultimate goal: to create a culture with zero errors of preventable harm. That may not sound like a realistic goal, but it's the only acceptable goal. And with your help in practicing the principles of Safety First, I know we can achieve amazing results.